Yes, sir. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we doing something a little bit different. We doing barbecue egg rolls. Now, sit tight, relax, and let me show you how to make these. All right, here we go. Let's get started. As you can see, we have all our ingredients laid out on the cutting board. Very inexpensive to make, little ingredients. To the right, we have our baby back ribs. If you're not a fan of pork, you can use beef, you can use chicken, tofu, whichever protein or even veggie you can use is fine. We have our two cheeses, mozzarella and mild cheddar. I'm a fan of mild over sharp, but you can use whatever cheddar you prefer. Here's the barbecue mix I've created. It'll be in the description below. We have our vegan egg roll wraps. You can find at any grocery store near you. We have our red onion and green onions. We have our original buffalo wing sauce. And we also have Sweet Baby Ray's sweet and spicy barbecue sauce. Let's move to the next step. All right, so the first thing you want to do to the ribs is wash them, get them clean, pat them dry. The second thing is you want to remove the membrane from the back of the ribs. You can use a fork, you can use the back of a spoon, or you can use a butter knife. Either way, just use that and go ahead and remove the skin from the back of the ribs. Definitely don't want that on there. If you ever had ribs at a barbecue or wherever and you grab the rib, you bit into it, and then you notice the little skin or what you thought was skin was at the back of the rib and it was hard to enjoy the rib, well, that's the piece we're taking off, or the membrane that we're taking off. So make sure you remove that before you do anything else. Then you want to go ahead and get you some mustard. Now, the mustard is just really a binder. It's not necessarily for flavor. It's really just a binder to help the seasoning stick to the ribs. And you want to make sure that you cover the whole back of the ribs with the mustard. Don't have to be a lot, but just put enough to cover the whole back of it. And then you take the season and you can generously season, or you can season as light as you want. For me, because I made the seasoning blend myself and I didn't add a lot of salt, so I can go as heavy as I want on this. But in your case, if you buy it from the store, there could be a lot of salt in it, so you don't really want to add a lot. Just taste it first and see what the salt level is before you add a whole bunch. All right, so go ahead and flip it over. Then go ahead and apply the same amount of mustard you added to the back of the ribs. Then go ahead and season it as much as you want or little as you want. And make sure that your oven is preheated to 350 degrees before you start the cleaning and the seasoning process. We're gonna cook these until tender. Now, it took me 2.5 hours to do that, but depending on the behavior of your oven, it could take longer or less time than that. But just make sure they're tender enough to shred it. As you see here, I shredded the pork already, did a little rough chop, and I also added some chicken just to add some variety to the party. Now, as far as the meat mixture, all I did was added the barbecue sauce and the buffalo sauce right into the mixture that you see here. That's why I have that color. And I also added just a little bit of that barbecue season that I created. You know, it'll be in the description. You can add this to it, and it'll add a little bit more flavor to the mixture. And the first thing I did here was lay down the egg roll wrapper. I laid down the pork mixture, the julienne sauteed onions that I sauteed behind the scenes while I was waiting for the pork to get ready. And I also shredded the two cheeses. Now, if you notice, the egg roll wrapper looked a little bit dry. That's because once you open the pack, you're supposed to cover it and keep air from getting to it. And you can see here, once I started rolling it, you notice how the egg roll wrapper already started breaking, and that's because it started drying a little bit. And I left this shot in here because I wanted you to see how it looked once this happens, so you'll know exactly what happens and how to prevent it from happening. And pretty much here, you see in the front view of it, the hole is in the top of it right there, you see it? But once you roll it up, it seals it. And here I'm gonna show you how to do it again with another wrapper that's not as dry as the one before. And notice, with this one, it's not as dry as the first one. And once I apply the water at the edges to seal it, you'll notice it doesn't break this time because it wasn't sitting out as long as the one before. Okay, you see these look a whole lot better. Let's move on. But before we start frying though, get yourself a sheet tray with a dripping rack. This will prevent the egg rolls from becoming soggy from sitting in the oil once you fry them. Now, I know you're used to using the plate and paper towels, which is cool that that's all you have, but if you don't, go ahead and use this. This will give you a better result in the end. The next thing you want to do is go ahead and get your pot, pan, or fryer, whichever you're going to use to fry your egg rolls. You want to get your temperature of the oil to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. You can use whichever oil you choose. I'm using canola, but you can use canola, peanut, or vegetable oil, whichever you have inside your household. And make sure when you fry these, do not overcrowd the pan. In my case, I'm only frying 5 at a time, which I only have 10, so it's going to be 2 batches for me. But for you, you probably can add more if you have a bigger pan, but try not to add too much because you don't want to drop the temperature of that grease, which then would give you a more soggy product and oily, and that we don't want that. So just try to prevent that and don't overcrowd your pan at all. And for me, I prefer my egg rolls to be a little bit more crispier. Some people don't like that, so just fry them to your heart's content. For me, this is good. I'm cool with that. All right, people, home stretch now. After you let your egg rolls sit on the rack for 5 minutes or so until they cool off, go ahead and cut them in half and take a look at them. Beautiful red color from the red onions, the white and yellow from the mozzarella and cheddar cheese. Everything is blended together, everything looks amazing. And the best way to make this look good and stand out, try to use a darker plate like I'm using a black plate. That's kind of like a bowl because I can eat soup out of this plate if I want, but it kind of helps the egg roll sit up. And what I did was I put some of the spicy barbecue and the buffalo sauce mixture in this bowl for me. I prefer this because I want the spicy barbecue flavor, but you can use ranch, you can use spicy ranch, you can use regular barbecue sauce or whatever sauce you choose. Just put it in a bowl and go ahead and garnish up your plate, get it ready for your guests. And that's it. Super easy, inexpensive recipe to make. And there you have it. This is my version of barbecue egg rolls. Get in the kitchen, make these now, so you can sit back, relax, and enjoy these and watch the Miami Heat knock out the New York Knicks. Haha, just joking though, but seriously, if you enjoyed this video and you want to follow me on the journey, please subscribe to the channel, like, and comment. Thank you so much for watching.